I can imagine in a situation like this, any unexplained anomaly is going to raise suspicions.
Right, and they started to think that someone had tampered with the footage to cover their tracks.
It's a legitimate concern given the circumstances.
And it really added fuel to all those online theories and rumors that were starting to pop up about the case.
Yeah, the internet loves a good mystery. And this one had all the ingredients to go viral.
Right, a missing student, a locked room, a mysterious text message.
Missing security footage.
It was a recipe for speculation and conspiracy theories.
So up to this point, the evidence seems to point towards an abduction.
Right. It's like the most logical explanation given what we know.
But then the investigation takes a turn.
Yeah, let's talk about what they found on Lena's laptop.
Ah, yes. This is where things start to get really interesting.
So the forensic team, they were analyzing Lena's laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to recover an encrypted file.
Encrypted, so someone was trying to hide something.
Exactly. And get this, the file was created just minutes before she sent that last text message.
Okay, so right before she disappears, she creates this secret file.
Uh-huh. And when they finally cracked the encryption, they discovered that the file contained screenshots of emails.
Emails between Lena and who?
That's the thing. The emails were between Lena and a burner email address.
A burner address, so like an anonymous, untraceable email account.
Yeah, the kind of thing you'd use if you didn't want anyone to know who you were.
Okay, so she's communicating with someone anonymously right before she vanishes. This is getting more and more suspicious.
It is. And the content of these emails, well, let's just say they don't make things any clearer.
What do you mean?
Well, there's one line in particular that the report highlights.
Okay.
It says, if something happens to me, it's him.
Whoa. That's a pretty direct accusation.
Right. But it's so vague. There's no name, no identifying details, just him.
So it's like she's pointing a finger at someone, but we don't know who.
It's like a giant question mark hanging over the whole investigation.
So naturally, the investigators would have been trying to figure out who this him could be.
Oh, they went all in on this.
Yeah.
They traced the IP address of the burner email account.
Okay, and where did that lead them?
This is where the abduction theory starts to fall apart.
Oh, really? How so?
The IP address didn't lead to another student or anyone obviously connected to Lena.
Okay.
It led to a private maintenance contractor who had access to the building.
So someone completely outside of her social circle?
Totally.
That's unexpected.
It was. And the report goes into how they brought this contractor in for questioning.
And what did you say?
He denied everything. He said he had never contacted Lena. She had no idea who she was.
And did they believe him?
Well, they searched his electronic devices, and they couldn't find any evidence linking him to the emails or to Lena herself.
So despite that initial lead with the IP address, it seems like he wasn't involved after all.
That's what the investigation concluded.
So we're back to square one then.
Kind of. The digital trail led them to a dead end, at least in terms of finding a potential abductor.
So if it wasn't this contractor who sent those emails, who was it? And what happened to Lena?
Well, this is where the story takes another major turn.
Okay, I'm listening.
6 days after she disappeared, Lena was found.
6 days? Where was she?
40 miles away from campus?
40 miles, that's a long way.
Yeah, and you get this, she was found in a maintenance tunnel.
A maintenance tunnel, like underground.
Yeah, underneath an abandoned textile factory.
That's a pretty strange place to end up.
It is. And when they found her, she was in rough shape.
I can imagine after 6 days alone.
She was dehydrated, exhausted, barely responsive.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. But she was alive, at least.
Yeah, she was alive. And the report notes that she was wrapped in a tarp.
A tarp. Like a discarded one.
Yeah, like she had been using it for shelter.
Okay, so maybe she was trying to stay hidden or out of the elements?
Possibly. But here's the crucial part. The report emphasizes that there were no signs of physical injury.
No injuries. It's pretty significant.
It is. It means there's no evidence that she had been forcibly confined or harmed in any way.
So this doesn't really fit with the abduction scenario.
Right. It challenges that whole assumption.
And were they able to talk to her? To find out what happened?
Eventually, yeah. But her responses were really fragmented and confusing.
I can imagine she must have been traumatized after that experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She was terrified and disoriented, and she kept talking about being followed.
Followed by who? Did she say?
She didn't give any specific details. It was like she was experiencing some kind of paranoid delusion.
So Act sounds like she wasn't thinking clearly.
No, she wasn't. And the report states very clearly that she had not been abducted.
So all those initial fears about someone taking her against her will.
Yeah, they were all wrong.
This is a huge turning point in the story. It means that something else was going on.
Something much more complex than anyone initially realized.
And Was that something else?
Well, the report reveals that Lena was eventually diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Paranoid schizophrenia, that's a serious mental health condition.
Yeah, it is. And it explains so much about her behavior.
How so?
Well, people with paranoid schizophrenia, they often experience delusions and hallucinations.
Right, they might see or hear things that aren't real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they might also have very strong feelings of paranoia and distrust, like they believe that people are out to get them.
Even if there's no evidence to support those beliefs.
Right. And in Lena's case, this condition had gone undetected and untreated.
So she was essentially struggling with this illness without any support or understanding of what was happening.
That's right. And it's heartbreaking to think about.
It is, and it really highlights the importance of mental health awareness and early intervention.
Absolutely. So if we look back at all those strange clues through the lens of this diagnosis, everything starts to make sense.